Okay, hello everyone and welcome. My name's Eloisa Ramos and I'm here with my friend Connie.
Hello.
And we're continuing with the study of the text of A Course in Miracles. So we are continuing with chapter 18, the passing of the dream. And we left off in the middle of a section, which was, let's see, Beyond the Body, section 6. We read up to paragraph 7, so we'll pick up with paragraph 8. Let's just review a little bit so that we can sort of pick up from the middle there. There's nothing outside of you. I'm just going to start with paragraph 1 and just kind of review each one here. Okay, there's nothing outside of you. So line 3, for God created only this, and he did not depart from it, nor leave it separate from himself. Okay, so the truth of what we are, the Course calls reality, and it's oneness. So the separation has never happened. So in reality, there's nothing outside of us, and God is not separate from us. God created us as part of God, not separate from God, and God cannot leave us, and we cannot leave God. So the mind of God, capital M, is what we all share. Let's see. And there's nothing inside or outside because it's all one. There's no parts or pieces. Okay, so what could God give but knowledge of himself? What else is there to give? Well, there's nothing else. The only truth and reality are real. Nothing else is real. So God can only give us of himself, which is the truth or reality, because there's nothing else to give. Everything else is an illusion, or the Course calls it a dream. Okay, 3, minds are joined, bodies are not. Okay, all right, let me just back up a little bit here. The previous paragraph, yes, so what we have done is, look at line 5. You have displaced your guilt to your body from your mind, okay, believing that we separated, okay? Yet a body cannot be guilty, for it can do nothing of itself. You who think you hate your body deceive yourself. You hate your mind, for guilt has entered into it, and it would remain separate from your brothers, which it cannot do. Okay, that's why the next line says, minds are joined and bodies are not. Okay, so God did not create the body. God creates like itself, spirit or mind. Okay, and so to believe that we can be separate from God means that we are going to believe that the impossible happened, and there's going to be guilt because the mind will believe that it actually accomplished the separation. But that guilt is so intolerable that the mind then projects it onto the body, which is also a projection of the mind, of the ego mind. um, and so the body is the one that is seen as guilty, and hated. Okay, you need something specific to put hate on. But this is saying that, okay, you're actually just deceiving yourself when you think you hate your body, because you're actually, what you hate is your mind, because guilt has entered it into it. And that's a belief in separation. So it's a belief that I'm separate from my brother, and therefore that we have separate and private minds. So there's a confusion there between the mind and the brain, which is the body, or the nervous system and the mind that processes information. But it's confusing the mind with the body. Okay. And so this is just making it clear, okay, that the mind cannot be separate. It's one mind. We share one mind. It's only the body that can be separate. So that's 3. Minds are joined, bodies are not. Only by assigning to the mind the properties of the body does separation seem to be possible. And it is mind that seems to be fragmented and private and alone. Its guilt, which keeps it separate, is projected to the body, which suffers and dies because it is attacked to hold the separation in the mind and let it not know its identity. Okay, so sickness, death of the body is a defense against the truth. And it keeps the idea of separation in the mind, protecting it. And that's the block to the awareness of the mind, our mind's true identity. It's a block to our mind remembering the truth of our identity, capital I. Okay. So the mind cannot attack, but it can make fantasies and direct the body to act them out. Okay. And 7, unless the mind believes the body is actually acting out its fantasies, it will attack the body by increasing the projection of its guilt upon it. Okay, and that would be a fantasy because the mind cannot attack, but it can believe that it can attack. Okay. All right, number 4. In this, the mind is clearly delusional. It cannot attack, but it maintains it can and uses what it does to hurt the body to prove it can. The mind cannot attack, but it can deceive itself. And this is all it does when it believes it has attacked the body. It can project its guilt, but it will not lose it through projection. Okay, so that's why whenever there's projection, there's always repression. Okay, so we don't ever get rid of anything that we project. It always stays in our mind. So you could say that then that there's really no projection, because everything that we seem to see as the projected world is really our unconscious, repressed mind. We're just looking at it as if it was separate, but it's not. Okay, but see, we have an option here. Would you not have the instruments of separation reinterpreted as means for salvation and used for purposes of love? Okay, so that's why the Holy Spirit says that the body is an instrument for communication. Yes, so would you not welcome and support the shift from fantasies of vengeance to release from them? Your perception of the body can clearly be sick, but project not this upon the body. For your wish to make destructive what cannot destroy can have no real effect at all. So you could say that this is, Jesus resurrected from the dead, okay? So what it's saying here is that the body, is made out to be something that can kill and be killed. And what this is saying is that it's a wish that is a fantasy that has no real effects at all. Hence the miracle of resurrection of the body. right? The friend of Jesus, Lazarus, and then his own resurrection. So what God created is only what he would have it be, being his will. You cannot make his will destructive. You can make fantasies in which your will conflicts with his, but that is all. So conflict is also a fantasy. So sin would be a fantasy too. Paragraph 6, it is insane to use the body as the scapegoat for guilt, directing its attack and blaming it for what you wished it to do. Okay, it is impossible to act out fantasies, for it is still the fantasies you want, and they have nothing to do with what the body does. It does not dream of them, and they but make it a liability where it could be an asset. Let's see. For fantasies have made your body your quote unquote enemy, weak, vulnerable, and treacherous, worthy of the hate that you invest in it. How has this served you? You have identified with this thing you hate, the instrument of vengeance, and the perceived source of your guilt. You have done this to a thing that has no meaning, proclaiming it to be the dwelling place of God's Son and turning it against him. I mean, that's all pretty delusional there, because, I mean, it's even hard to understand what it's saying. Because the fantasies of the mind to have the body hold the guilt would then, make the body weak, because it would be something that can be attacked. It can attack, but it can also be attacked. So it would then be weak and vulnerable. Okay. And then to say, well, the body is there to serve you, or the body is you, then we're identifying with the thing that is weak and vulnerable. And yeah, we're going to hate it. Okay. Because we're not going to feel safe in it. And it's going to fail us. We're going to be very disappointed with ourselves. We're not going to measure up to our standards, to our expectations. Yeah, so the mind ends up turning against itself, and that's a lot of times that's what we do. We really are our own worst enemy, you could say, in a lot of ways. Who needs enemies when we have our own worst enemy? Okay, so here's paragraph 7. So go ahead and read that, Connie.
This is the host of God that you have made, and neither God nor his most holy Son can enter an abode that harbors hate, and where you have sown the seeds of vengeance, violence, and death. This thing you made to serve your guilt stands between you and other minds. The minds are joined, but you do not identify with them. You see yourself locked in a separate prison, removed and unreachable, incapable of reaching out as being reached. You hate this prison you have made and would destroy it, but you would not escape from it, leaving it unharmed without your guilt upon it.
So it's talking about the body, right? Of how we have made the ego thought system looks at the body as the host of God. Okay, that you, meaning ego thought system, have made.
Yeah.
Okay, so and a lot of times what we believe is that this is where that the body is the altar, or we call it, let's see, I think I learned this growing up with, the Catholic doctrine that the spirit abides in the body. I don't know if that's actually in the doctrine, but that's what I came out learning. So, the soul is in the body, right? So that's what this is saying. It's saying, no, that's not possible. Okay. Neither God nor his most holy son can enter an abode that harbors hate. And where you have sown the seeds of vengeance, violence, and death, which would be the body. Okay. So, no, the body is not the temple of the soul. Okay. This thing, the body, okay, that you made to serve your guilt, actually stands. It's a block between you and other minds. Okay. Because when we identify with a body, when we think that we are in the body and then see others, we think that they're a body too, and that they have a mind of their own. So now we think that every body has an individual mind of their own. So there's no joining of minds. We just think everyone is separate. They have individual minds. Okay. Line 4, the minds are joined, but you do not identify with them. Okay, you see yourself locked in a separate prison, the body. Okay, removed and unreachable, incapable of reaching out as being reached. So that's really, feeling like you're stuck inside the body. You hate this prison you have made and would destroy it. But you would not escape from it, leaving it unharmed without your guilt upon it. Okay. I mean, that's why the Course says that the way out of the illusion of time is not through death, but through eternal life. This is saying that, we try to escape the world basically by killing off the body, because we see it as a prison. Okay. Mm. So, yeah, do you have a question, Connie?
No, I was just thinking that when people do take their lives, yeah, they think they're they're getting out of their life.
That's because they're confusing the body with
Yeah,
life.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mm, mm.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
Or whatever they go into, whatever kind of health drama. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, when you say take your own life, well, it would be the life that you made, because it would
right.
be the body,
Yes, yes.
which
And
is a
thinking,
projection, right?
yeah, and
Yeah.
thinking, oh, I'll just take my body out of here, and
Yeah,
and
but
then that
but
doesn't work.
well, it doesn't work whether you call it suicide or it's murder or it's,
Mm,
or it's sickness,
yeah.
I
Mhm.
mean, the results are the same. So there's no real difference there.
I do ponder about the whole idea, like you said initially, that, we're taught in a lot of churches and religions that the spirit and soul reside in the body. So that when we are, I think we may have talked about this before, when we are trying to meditate or trying to quiet, it's like trying to reach something.
Oh, you're not trying, okay? Because if you're trying, you're going to be using the ego thought system.
Hmm.
So it's more of a not trying. It's
Yeah,
more of an
just
allowing without any judgment, observing, noticing.
but it's like wanting to know, well, where is this thing that I'm wanting to connect with? It must be here,
Oh,
here, here.
no, but if you're doing that, then you're actually still stuck in the ego thought system.
You're what?
You're still working with the ego thought system.
Yeah. Yeah, even, well, yeah. Yep, exactly. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's no trying at all. Otherwise, it's effort. It's a type of accomplishment, achievement. Trying to get results. Yeah.
It feels like they're going somewhere, though, or
Who's going somewhere?
I'm not very good at expressing the words. It's who's going somewhere. Yeah. Okay, let's move right along.
Okay, so
Okay.
number 8. Let's
Okay.
see. I guess it's my turn,
Yeah.
huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, okay, yet only thus can you escape. So this is referring to the line 7 above. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but you would not escape from it, leaving it unharmed without your guilt on it. Yet only thus can you escape. The home of vengeance is not yours. The place you set aside to house your hate is not a prison, but an illusion of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
The body is a limit imposed on the universal communication that is an eternal property of mind. But the communication is internal. Mind reaches to itself. It is not made up of different parts which reach each other. It does not go out. So within itself, it has no limits, and there is nothing outside it. It encompasses everything. It encompasses you entirely, you within it, and it within you. There's nothing else anywhere or ever.
Wow.
Because there's no boundaries. Yeah. I mean, separation, that's what boundaries are. They're separation. So there's no within and no without. Because
Mm.
there's no body entities. There's no object, thing, body, ego. Um, yeah, so 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 the body, the home of vengeance is not yours. The place you set aside to house your hate is not a prison, but an illusion of yourself. So the body is an illusion of what we think we are. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not real. Um, However, it puts a limit when we believe that it is what we are. It puts a limit that is imposed on the universal communication. Okay. That would be direct communication with God. That is an eternal property of mind.
Mm.
So as God created us, we are one with God, and therefore there would be inherent communication, universal, without any, um, without any limits to that. So believing, okay, that we are a body would then block the awareness of that, of our unlimited nature as mind that is one with its creator.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Mind reaches to itself. Okay, so there's no different parts, no going out, no going in. Okay, number 9.
The body is outside you but seems to surround you, shutting you off from others and keeping you apart from them and them from you. It is not there. There is no barrier between God and his Son, nor can his Son be separated from himself except in illusions. This is not his reality, though he believes it is. Yet this could only be if God were wrong. God would have had to create differently and to have separated himself from his Son to make this possible. He would have had to create different things and to establish different orders of reality, only some of which were love. Yet love must be forever, like itself, changeless, forever and forever without alternative. And so it is. You cannot put a barrier around yourself because God placed none between himself and you.
Yes, so the body is really a part of the dream, of the illusion of what we think we are. It's not really there, but we identify with it, so we believe that it's there, because
Mhm.
we confuse it with what we are, you know. So yeah, so I mean, a lot of religions would tell us that God creates the body, and this is saying no, God doesn't create the body. Um, so let's see, number 10. You can stretch out your hand and reach to heaven. You, whose hand is joined with your brother's, have begun to reach beyond the body, but not outside yourself, to reach your shared identity together. Could this be outside you, where God is not? Is he, capital H, a body? And did he create you as he is not, and where he cannot be? You are surrounded only by him, capital H. What limits can there be on you, whom he, capital H, encompasses? Okay. So, for a lot of us, it takes a while before we really, it took me a while, I would say, to really, accept that God did not create the body.
Yeah.
It's not logical. It's not reasonable, okay, that God did, but we're just so used to seeing it that way that we don't question it. But this, is making a pretty straightforward um, argument here that God could not have made the body. Okay, God is not a body. So, line 5. And so, how did he create you? Not like himself? Is that what we're saying? God creates not like himself and place you where he cannot be? Well, no. Okay, that's not possible. So, okay, 11.
Everyone has experienced what he would call a sense of being transported beyond himself. This feeling of liberation far exceeds the dream of freedom sometimes hoped for in special relationships. It is a sense of actual escape from limitations. If you will consider what this quote unquote transportation really entails, you will realize that it is a sudden unawareness of the body and a joining of yourself and something else in which your mind enlarges to encompass it. It becomes part of you as you unite with it, and both become whole, as neither is perceived as separate. What really happens is that you have given up the illusion of a limited awareness and lost your fear of union. The love that instantly replaces it extends to what has freed you and unites with it. And while this lasts, you are not uncertain of your identity and would not limit it. You have escaped from fear to peace, asking no questions of reality, but merely accepting it. You have accepted this instead of the body and have let yourself be one with something beyond it, simply by not letting your mind be limited by it.
Okay, well, this reminds me of lesson 48. There's nothing to fear,
Mm.
because in the previous one, lesson 47, God is the strength in which I trust. So beyond the body is there's no fear, because the minute that, let's see, fear has no reality, then there's an automatic awareness of the um, let's see, of the true self as one with everything. Um, and so, I mean, the body's there, but it's not there's no identification with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the 8, the love that instantly replaces it extends to what has freed you and unites with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's nothing to fear, because I know that if when we go into fear, we identify with the body. So we automatically go into limitation and weakness and, a need for protection and defense and the whole thing. So yeah. Okay, number 12. This can occur regardless of the physical distance that seems to be between you and what you join, of your respective positions in space, and of your differences in size and seeming quality. Time is not relevant. It can occur with something past, present, or anticipated. The quote-unquote something can be anything and anywhere. A sound, a sight, a thought, a memory, and even a general idea without specific reference. Yet in every case, you join it without reservation because you love it and would be with it. And so you rush to meet it, letting your limits melt away, suspending all the laws, quote unquote laws, your body obeys, and gently setting them aside. Yes, so this is describing the experience of meeting something, someone, even an idea without any preconceived notion. So it's just opening space to just be with it. Because the recognition that it's you, that there's no separation, that there is no not me, is gone, it's undone. So I think this is like a holy instant. Yeah, so you join with it because you love it, but there's also a sense that it's not, that it's, everywhere I go, there I am. There's a sense that there's nothing out there that's not me. So um, um, yeah, so the mind is not using the judgment, the comparison, and the, evaluation to see differences. There's no sense of having any of that. None of that is perceived. So, okay, 13.
Okay. There is no violence at all in this escape. The body is not attacked, but simply properly perceived. It does not limit you merely because you would not have it so. You are not really, quote unquote, lifted out of it. it cannot contain you. You go where you would be, gaining, not losing, a sense of self. In these instants of release from physical restrictions, you experience much of what happens in the holy instant, just like you were saying, the lifting of the barriers of time and space, the sudden experience of peace and joy, and above all, the lack of awareness of the body and of the questioning whether or not all this is possible. Hmm. Oh.
Mhm. Yeah, so what we gain is that line 5 there is that sense of self, capital S,
Mm.
the lensing.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yes, and the questioning mind is sort of it's questioning mind does not really have any role here um, because there's no sense of not knowing, or because there's no fear. Fear is always associated with, uncertainty or not knowing, or future, or imagination, or let's see, or past grievances. So in this perception here, so this is like holy perception, I think. Uh,
Huh.
um,
Yeah, that's a
because
good way to put it.
yeah, because you see the body is there, but it just doesn't, you know.
Mhm.
mm,
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, it's not it doesn't it's not witnessing to separation. uh,
Hmm.
okay, number 14, let's see. It is possible because you want it. The sudden expansion of awareness that takes place with your desire for it is the irresistible appeal the holy instant holds. It calls to you to be yourself within its safe embrace.
Hmm.
There, there are the loss of limit lifted for you to welcome you to openness of mind and freedom. Come to this place of refuge where you can be yourself in peace, not through destruction, not through a breaking out, but merely by a quiet melting in. For peace will join you there simply because you have been willing to let go the limits you have placed upon love and joined it where it is and where it led you, in answer to its gentle call to be at peace. Yeah. So because the perception is not operating under judgment or comparison or evaluation, it's not, it's everything is same. Everything is the same. So there's no sense of where the self ends and where there would be something else that would begin. It's just all part of the same self, which would just be the
Hmm.
mind and not the body, just the mind. So the body would be part of the dream that the mind, is projecting. But the mind recognizes it's not the body, so it's not buying into the illusions. um, yeah, it's not it's not taking it seriously. So um, hence, like the lesson 48 says, there is nothing to fear. Hence, there is nothing to fear. The idea for today simply states a fact. Yes, it is not a fact to those who believe in illusions, but illusions are not facts.
Mhm.
In truth, there is nothing to fear. Okay. Um,
Mhm.
yes, because reality is completely loving. So there's nothing to fear in
Mhm.
truth or in reality. And illusion is not real. So there's nothing to fear in illusion. So it's the same. There's no conflict. There's no disagreement. There is nothing to fear.
Where's all this love?
It's what we are. It's not, once you ask the question where, you're separating because you're looking for a place in time.
I'm looking for it in others to join. Where's our love?
Yes, but that self that is looking to join would have to be seeing itself as separate,
Mhm.
you see? And by looking for that, it is reinforcing the belief that it is separate.
Mhm. Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where a lot of us are kind of stuck right now. Yeah, in that belief. Yeah, thinking, oh, there should be all this love. There could be all this love. And
Well, it is. It's there already. We don't have to, we just have to let go of that part of the mind that thinks it has to find it somewhere.
yes, in others, something out there. That's
Yes,
the problem.
there is
Yeah.
no out there,
Well,
right?
that's what I mean. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what we do. We're looking for it out there.
Yeah. That was the first line right here in paragraph 1. There is nothing outside you. This
Oh
is
boy.
what you must ultimately learn. For it is the
Okay.
realization that the kingdom of heaven is restored to you.
Oh, it's just really hard to let that one sink in. It's coming. It's coming bit
Mhm.
by bit,
Yeah. Yeah.
little itty bits at a time. Oh,
Hmm.
okay.
Yep. Yep. Uh,
Well, that was cool. Yeah, beyond the body for sure. Oh, what's next? I need do nothing. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. Quit trying. Quit trying to find love.
yep.
Quit
That's right.
trying to find spirit meditation.
Yes. Exactly.
Allow the love.
Yeah, just
Allow.
be open-minded and then receive quietly, be still and receive.
Receive.
Yes.
Ah.
Rather
Oh,
than always trying to get, trying to reach, trying to, find, it's just receive. So you just be still and receive.
it seems more challenging to receive than to give. That must be just a clog in the belief system.
Well,
Because yeah,
we've trained our mind to,
hmm,
let's see,
to
to
receive.
value getting, grabbing, and taking, which is go, 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 do,
Mhm,
achieve, achieve, achieve.
mhm,
Okay. So for the ego thought system that believes that doing is causal, okay, which is a level confusion,
mhm, mhm.
then to just allow and to be and to receive uh, would be perceived as passive and
Yeah.
kind of let's see, it would be perceived in a negative way.
Mhm,
Okay. But that's really just protection. That's a defense. Okay.
mhm,
Because the ego wants to protect itself
mhm,
as
mhm,
self-made, so I have
mhm.
to go, 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 and do to make myself what I am.
And give, so to speak, too. There's all people who are giving service or volunteering. There's that part too of the ego that feels like, oh, I need to give, I need to. So rather than what you're saying is just to allow to be given through, rather,
Yes,
yeah, I'll just allow all of it,
yes,
the giving and receiving. Yeah,
yes,
thank you.
because if you
Yeah.
are, if you need to give, then you're
Mm,
actually, that's a little bit of a contradiction because
yeah.
you're coming from a place
Mm,
of need, which is lack. So
hmm.
how can you even give anything when you're coming from a place of lack?
Yeah, or when someone gives you a gift and then you feel, oh, I got to give something back.
Okay, well,
There's
that's not giving, that's exchange.
exactly, that's, yeah, another part of that. Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah.
it's not really giving at all.
No, no,
It's,
it's
yeah, yeah,
transactional. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. All right,
Okay.
just allow.
Let it be.
Yes, boy, everything comes back to a Beatles song.
Yeah,
They did a
that was a
song
pretty good.
about no inside, no outside you. There is no inside, there is no outside. That's, yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
all right.
Okay, until next time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.